there, hi there, ho there. It's time to talk about my top 100 vintage board games of all time. We are on number 80. This is one of the misses games. It is Power Rangers. This game has shot up my list because I have found how thematic it really is. You start as a Power Rangers, you're rolling die and trying to see if that die is good enough to beat. You're looking at these stands that are all interchangeable, so the numbers will always be different. If it beats that number, then you can move on to the next step in the game. Or instead, you can bank that die roll for one of your Power Ranger cards to add on to a die roll later on, which is what you're going to do definitely later on as you're fighting a big monster. You get in your little Zord or Dinobot and you fight some kind of monster, and then you create the Megatron or Megazord, whatever it is. I don't really know Power Rangers that well. I know Voltron better. If this is a Voltron game, it'd probably be a top 50 game easily. Maybe top 30 game in my collection if it was Voltron themed. But anyway, you're rolling and you're really trying to take on this mega boss, and this is the catch-up mechanism, because unless you roll like a 6 and then you have all of your power rings are the only way that you're going to beat this dude. But the game knows that, so it allows you, every time you try to strike at him and fail, he loses 1 power. Why? Because eventually all the other Power Rangers are going to catch up, and maybe one of them can deal the killing blow and win the game. It doesn't matter. It's very thematic as a Power Ranger show goes, and I've just really appreciated this. My wife will always play this because she loves Power Rangers, and every time we play, I've just really appreciated the game, and it has a lot of replayability because the stands are interchangeable. So really smart game. Absolutely a joy to play. If you're a Power Ranger fan, check out that vintage game. Even though they have some new games that look really awesome too, but I don't like Power Rangers, so I don't care. Number 79 is also from the Mrs. collection. This may be the highest one from her collection. It is Dukes of Hazzard, the regular board game. I highly recommend this game. It's a racing game where you're rolling dice, but you have to decide, are you going to take the highway that has less spaces or the dirt road that has more spaces? Well, obviously the highway, right? No, because the highway has spots on it that make you draw from a deck that's always bad, whereas the dirt road has spots on it that make you draw from cards that are always good. And you really don't know who's going to win, and I think for the most part, our races are really fast. And they're really down to the skinny, It really gets down to like 1 or 2 spaces, who's going to win. My wife will consistently take the dirt road. I will take the highway. I think we split the wins. She may win a little bit more, but either way, I have a lot of fun with this. The more players, the merrier. Dukes of Hazzard, the racing game, is fun to play. All right, number 78 is the Cracker Jack game. This is a new game I got last year. This is the second year on my list here. And it's a really good game. I thought the cardboard in the game would be cheap, but the cardboard is very thick. The little plastic toys it comes with feels like actual toys they would put in a Cracker Jack back in the day. And basically you're spinning a Cracker Jack box on a little stand, and you're either getting to draw a card or pick, one of the boxes. And it's a game of memory. And so you choose a box, and you're trying to get to match one of the cards you've retrieved. And of course, whoever has the most toys at the end wins. It's not bad. I got the game because my wife is a huge Cracker Jack fan. She loves Cracker Jacks. So playing Cracker Jack the game is fun. And I like that it's a memory game, and I like that you're not wanting to, give away too much, because what if someone else has that card? So sometimes I've seen people pick the same box over and over and over again because they don't want to, reveal where the other trinket is for the other players. Either way, it is a fun game. You can get it for pretty cheap too, so if you're interested, check it out. My number 77 is a great game called Chicken Out. Basically, you're playing cards, moving across the board, moving these, I think it's 2 chickens, trying to get 2 chickens across the street. They keep crisscrossing the street, so from one end to the next. But every once in a while, it's a bluffing game. Someone's going to play a card face down, and they're going to ask you, do you want to move back to the last street you crossed, or do you want to risk it and stay where you're at and not lose any spaces? And once everyone's made their decision, you flip over the card. What is the word that says chicken or chicken out or something? However the word chicken is spelled, in blue, yellow, green, or red, those chickens in the middle of the road go all the way back to the beginning. But if they're on the side of the road, they're safe. And sometimes chicken is spelled with all 4 colors, which means everyone is impacted. Now, of course, the player who played it is not impacted in the game, but everyone else is. Great children's bluffing game. You can get it for cheap if you're interested in it. Chicken Out. My number 76 is a 2-player game. It is Chopper Strike. I've talked about Chopper Strike every time I talk about my vintage games. It's got this clear plastic tray over the board, which is something I don't understand why no one has done in board games ever since, because you're playing basically, it's almost like chess or checkers on two different platforms. One, you're fighting people with helicopters, helicopter versus helicopter. But at the bottom, it's Jeeps versus Jeeps. And as you're rolling die, you're moving helicopters and Jeeps. But don't worry, because guess what? Jeeps can fire up at helicopters. Helicopters can dive bomb Jeeps. And so you're trying to eliminate all someone's helicopters or all their Jeeps to win the game. And really, a lot of the times you keep looking like, oh, am I close? Am I underneath him? Or can he reach me from there? It's really great. It's a really smart game, very strategic. And like I said, that tray, why haven't anyone done this for figures that can fly or something? I can see a plastic tray over a board game and you're playing like 2 levels of a game. No one has thought about that mechanic, to introduce that mechanic into board games, and I think it's so ingenious. And Chopper Strike has it. No other game, as of this video, does not. My number 75 has quickly become one of my little niece's favorite games to play when she comes over. It is Captain Bones' Gold. You're basically spinning a spinner, moving across this island with a little magnet on your head. It's a coin magnet, and if you roll Captain Bones, you have to hit the treasure chest, and he randomly pops up somewhere with his hand with the magnet and slaps you. If he grabs your coin, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. I think it's the first person to get across with like 2 coins or 3 coins wins. It doesn't matter. It's a hoot. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And like I said, my niece, this is one of her favorite games now. She always wants to play Captain Bones. And we always go, uh-oh, Captain Bones. That's what I always say when we roll. It's really silly, but a lot of these are just silly fun. Speaking of silly fun, my number 74 is Rumble in the Jungle. Luke from Down from the Attic showed me this. The moment he showed me it, I bought it. I found it for a deal and bought it immediately. Setup time is a lot. It takes longer to set the game than it does to play it. But as you play it, it is Mousetrap on steroids. I mean, the game has so many trap spots and forces you. If you move ahead exactly into the next trap. Because when, and don't worry, one of those metal balls are going to start moving across the track, it sets off all the traps. And if you get hit by a trap, you go all the way back to the beginning. Now, it is aggravating, but eventually someone is going to make it through all the traps and unleash the little golden monkey at the end, and it's a lot of fun to play. But like I said, it is a beast to set up. I wish it was easier to set up. If it was easier to set up, I probably would have this game a little bit higher. But setup does bring the game. Well, I think this game has always been number 74 here, so it's only moved down once. So it's not, well, no, this game has moved down a little bit here. But yeah, I think it moved back up if the setup time wasn't so bad. So number 74, Rumble in the Jungle. My number 73 is a classic game that got reprinted at Target, I think. It still may be there. Forbidden Bridge. And definitely buy the reprint. The reprint looks really nice. Really, same game, just probably better mechanics. It's a lot of fun where you're explorers going across this shaky bridge, trying to get 2 gems, one at a time. You're bringing them across this bridge, trying not to flip over and drop the gem into the river, and trying to get back to your boat. It's a fun, zany game. We do have a house rule, because if a gem falls from the bridge, someone can go down and, cross over the bank to get it. But what I found is 1 or 2 people are just sitting there waiting for the other people to get the gem and get them to drop it so that they can grab the gem and get their boat, which is right there at the bottom, and leave. So we made a rule that you can only grab 1 gem off the ground, off the first level, 1 drop gem per player. But the game is really fun. It is pretty quick. Don't buy the original version. It costs way too much. The new version looks nicer and is probably a better game, meaning the mechanics a little bit, the mechanisms used are a lot better. But I do enjoy the game, Forbidden Bridge. My number 72 is a game from Germany, I think. It's called Dinosaur, roughly. And this is just battle. It's got some awesome looking dinosaur pieces. And so you're basically just playing cards, battling out one another by rolling dice, using these little lava balls to re-roll your dice, which everyone's going to be using. And it's fun. The more players you have, the more fun this game is, though. There are these extinction cards, which I really love. Means you can throw it down. Everyone has to roll the die, and if they roll a blank, that dinosaur is extinct from their game. And you may want to play it because you don't have any dinosaurs of that particular type. So you're doing it just to kind of screw the other players. It's great. It's a really fun game. I don't know how much it costs, but those pieces are worth it. And my older nephews, still love this game. They'll still play this game. They love Dinosaur. They love the battle games. Finally, number 71. It's not much of a game, but it gets played a whole heck of a lot in this house. It is called Mr. Creepy's Tomb of Doom. It's basically 3 or 4 little mini games where you're trying to just get a key. You pick a key and insert into the treasure chest. You're trying to get that treasure chest to open, but only one key opens it. If it doesn't, if it's the wrong key, then Mr. Bones' teeth will chatter, his eyes will go back and forth, he'll go crazy, and you basically just discard it and try to win the next mini game. And eventually someone's going to get it where it opens up the chest and get a gold coin. First person to get 2 gold coins wins. And again, this game gets played all the time. All the time. It's a real big fun one. I know that my little girls, when they get a little bit old, they'll have to be maybe 5 or 6 to play this, but I know they're going to love it. My wife loves it. My little nephews love it. We play this one all the time. So, really fun game, Mr. Creepy's Tomb of Doom. Hey, folks, that's it for now. Come back, and I'll give you 10 more. See you then.